I want to talk a bit about the chances of I want to talk a bit about the chances, a bit more about Brexit or no Brexit. Okay, so on Thursday, Brits went to the polls and decided with a clear majority, 52% to 48%, to leave the European Union. Okay, the result was clear. It's not a very small margin. There was a gap of 1 million votes between those wanting out and those wanting in. That, of course, as you all know, triggered a huge collapse in financial markets. It also has an impact on the real economy. It's uncertain. For instance, everything is uncertain. People living here in Barcelona don't know, Brits, what their future will be. There's so many Brits, pensioners, for example, living here in Spain and Portugal and France, they don't know what's going to happen. The same goes for Europeans living in London and in the UK in general. There's a huge community. Most probably they'll be able to stay, those living for a long time, but everyone that needs to take a decision, not a travel decision, but a business decision, a studies decision, work decision that involves crossing the channel, either a Brit coming to Europe or the other way around, everything is on hold now. Okay, we already heard from financial services companies that they're working on moving their offices outside of London, and these are very high-paying jobs, as we all know. Okay, orders, as I mentioned before, coming from Europe to UK companies, it's sort of also on hold. Lots of uncertainties. What will be the next move? Okay, that's the economic background. We're already seeing the pressure coming. Now the political scene. We had the vote on Thursday. The results emerging very early on Friday morning. Friday at 7 GMT, half past 7 GMT, David Cameron got out of his residence at 10 Downing Street and announced that, the big headline was, "We need a new captain for this ship. I'm going to step down." Okay, so David Cameron is gone. Logical decision. He took he went for this EU referendum. Some would call it a gamble, and he lost. So he's out. But another thing he said, which is now becoming a big point of contention, he said that he will not pull the trigger by himself. What's the trigger? Article 50. Okay, Article 50 is in the European Treaty, is the clause for exiting the EU. He said, "I lost. I'm out of here. My the person who will inherit me as prime minister, he will have to take this decision." Okay, so Cameron got away from. He doesn't want to invoke this Article 50. He doesn't want to take the decision by himself. Now, we've seen a different reaction on the Leave camp. We've seen Nigel Farage talking about Independence Day, celebrating, and really enjoying his victory. On the other hand, Boris Johnson, when he faced cameras, he didn't seem that happy. Okay, Boris Johnson, former mayor of London, looks like Donald Trump, the leading candidate to replace David Cameron. He was a bit shocked by this decision, I guess, by Cameron, and perhaps shocked by the result itself. And it doesn't seem that he's also keen on pulling the trigger, because he knows that he will be responsible for the huge damage. David Cameron and also other British politicians said, "We'll first have some informal negotiations and then we'll invoke Article 50. The European Union said, "No, this isn't a possibility." Some wanted an urgent decision from the UK. Some said, "Okay, you can take your time, but we're not going to talk to you." That was a clear line from Angela Merkel, which calls the shots. We're not going to talk. We're not going to have informal talks. You're either in or out. Okay, no wishy-washy decisions. Okay, all this leads now. With every day that passes, we have more economic damage. With every day that passes, Article 50 is not triggered. The formal exit is not triggered. This, of course, raises the chances of a no Brexit, or if you want a regret of the decision, or an EU turn. Okay, many nice words going on. And another, now, how can this happen? First of all, with every day that passes and this doesn't happen, this raises the chance that it will never happen. And there is a legal opinion saying that it's not for the government to decide. Remember, the referendum was not a binding one. It's not for the government to decide, but for Parliament. In Parliament, there's an overwhelming majority for remaining in the EU. Most Labour members, most Tory members, all Liberal Democrats, all the Scottish National Party members, and also, I guess, those from Northern Ireland and from Wales. I mean, in general, most members of Parliament, I think 70% at least, are against it. Now, will members of Parliament now vote according to the will of the British people expressed in the referendum for exiting the EU, or for remaining in the EU according to their conscience, according to the situation in the economy, which is deteriorating on a daily basis? Okay, so it's quite a big dilemma. Of course, there's also the option that there will be an official Brexit, but the agreements, remember, it's a 2-year negotiation period, will resemble the current arrangements. That's sort of the Norwegian style. Norway has to oblige by the European laws of free movement of people, free labor. Basically, it's a member without being officially a member. So it doesn't have a say in decision making, but it enjoys or suffers or whatever you wish, everything that is European Union related. Okay, so that could also be an option. Now, this isn't certain because the British people have said their word, but there is a chance of kind of an EU turn. I believe that many Brits, including those who voted Remain, will be frustrated on one hand from overturning the democratic decision by the people, and the turnout was huge, okay? Others will be sort of relieved that Britain is not following that path. In any case, there's already economic damage and already a problem with democracy in the UK. Now, I'm talked a lot about this topic because it already has, I guess, the speculation, which is currently at a low level, already, I think, supports the pound at least just a bit. Okay, so at the moment we're already seeing, well, today the pound going a bit higher. I haven't seen any official political developments, but that's one of the reasons for the recovery. European stock markets are currently on the move higher. Okay, so another day of optimism in the UK, in Europe, in financial markets, also by the chance of a no Brexit. Okay, another thing that fuels this is that we're going to have a contest for leadership in the Conservative Party in the UK, and it's not so clear that Boris Johnson will lead. There are fresh opinion polls showing that the current Minister of Interior, Theresa May, that she could win over Johnson. So, and she is in the Remain camp. Okay, and will she lead as Prime Minister of the UK out of the Eurozone against her judgment, or will she respect the will of the British people? So everything is open. Okay. All right.